Today we're talking about the drama at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. We've got two new insane vehicles from Subaru and Audi, and possibly a Land Cruiser that sold for way too much money. But first, if you found a moldy Ford GT in your neighbor's garage, what would you do with it? Welcome to the Big Three. What is up, everybody? My name is Nolan Sykes. Welcome back to the Big Three, the only automotive news show you need to listen to, hosted by three partially informed guys. My name is Nolan Sykes. Sitting with me this week, Max Maddox.
Hello.
And Justin Freeman.
What up?
How you guys doing?
Tired.
Me too. I got in, and my sister got married this weekend over in Butte, or outside Butte. We were in a little town called Anaconda, Montana.
Nice.
Whoa. Not a lot of flights from that region direct to LAX, so I had to. I got in at like midnight and got home at like 1:30, and I shouldn't be here today. I'm tired.
Wow, all this talk about Butte and Anaconda really just makes me think of Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, hey, that we did play Anaconda at the wedding.
Oh,
the DJ, it was his like first time DJing a wedding.
Oh, nice.
And
that could only go well.
he like left the DJ booth like literally every 5 minutes to go get a drink from the bar.
Nice.
And it was just props to him for really sticking through it, seeing through the whole wedding and playing an interesting playlist.
Do you dance at weddings?
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's really bad. I have no rhythm and no moves, so I just freestyle, kind of like Elaine on Seinfeld. Pretty bad. I did the worm.
Hell yeah.
Whoa.
Twice. I hit my chin like on the concrete floor, and I can still, it's not bruised or anything, but it's very tender there.
No, you got a hard chin, so
yeah,
that's good.
Do
you use your hands when you do the worm, or
oh,
you
yeah.
like?
No, I'm not full belly. No,
Okay.
I can't do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you like your brother-in-law?
Yeah. No, he's really cool.
Is it like a Paul Walker Vin Diesel situation? Like, you better be careful with my sister.
As I'm drinking a Snapple. No, he's really cool. And it's like, this is the first time like one of my siblings got married. You know, I'm getting married in like 2 months, but
she just had to beat you.
Well, they got engaged before us by a few months. So I was like, when we were planning our wedding, it's like, I can't like steal their thunder.
I got you.
You know, but it's really interesting. I don't know if you guys have experienced this or not, but when, you know, a sibling or like someone really, really close to you gets married and you hear about that person from like another family that they're being accepted into during a wedding, like with speeches and stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, my sister is really cool. Yeah, she is really great. Like, it's just seeing how you know, you have your own perception of people, especially siblings, after, you know, decades of being alive, and then to hear that like pretty much all of that is affirmed by another family is like really special. So that was really cool. Cool deal. Great wedding, really small, but really fun.
Sounds like a beautiful weekend.
It was a Butte, Montana weekend for sure. Okay, so that's me.
I had your trailer blow up a tire.
That'll happen. Yeah. I know. When that trailer got here, this is a runner through the show now.
So Nolan, this is your family's trailer that
now it's Donut's trailer.
Yeah. Yep.
The title is in Donut's name. And but when my dad dropped it off, you know, multiple times it's been made aware that those tires are old on there. So when we were using it willy-nilly all last week, and like you're taking it, we had some other productions use it. I was like, dude, like we still haven't gotten the new tires on there. It's only a matter of time.
Yep.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
Me at 11 at night.
Yep.
On Saturday. I was throwing my XT6. Some of the teachers at RCC actually helped me out figure out a lot of electrical gremlins. So the car's running great now, and I'm driving it and everything. It's really cool. I'm actually going to go visit Bucky Lassick today.
Hell yeah.
And he's going to pull some interior parts out of my car, because he's doing a resto. I'm doing more like a track.
You guys are both building the same like obscure Subaru.
Yes. Yeah.
Sick, dude.
But yeah, so I've just been hauling that thing around back and forth in LA, and in the middle of the night, I was in the middle lane, didn't run anything over, and just felt this huge vibration, and I was like, what happened? And then it quickly went away. I was like, let me pull over.
So we need to get some new tires on there.
They're on order already. They just haven't got here yet. So Adam's been on top of it.
I'm sorry, Justin. I'm sorry that happened.
It's all good. Yeah.
I did multiple times.
Yeah, it's all good.
Warn about that.
We have trailer tires here. They're just not the right size. So it's whatever. But luckily, you have 4. So I just kept driving.
Yeah. When I was towing my Imperial, this is like years ago, back in 2020, I think the tires that I also had some tires blow out on that trailer because the car weighs like 5,500 pounds. Right. And I think the tires that survived that trip were the ones that probably exploded this weekend on you. So
just one. It was just one.
Okay, good. I had 2 go out.
Oof.
Yeah.
Not with that heavy thing.
No, it was bad.
But besides that, work Friday, we surprised Christina with her Subaru build.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, this is a video that isn't going to come out for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But inside scoop for you big 3 listeners.
For you 3 heads out there, Christina, who y'all know from the podcast.
You know her laugh.
You hear her regularly. She's had this Subaru Forester for like 15 years.
It's her first car.
It's the only car she's ever owned.
Yeah.
And it is pretty clapped out, admittedly.
Yes.
And the other day she was driving home and it broke down on the way home. So she took it to Sandro's, which is where a lot of us take our cars, especially on the east side, because he's our friend and he's a good mechanic. And she took it to Sandro's, and I picked her up and drove her to the shop and everything. And I just kind of said to Sandro, what do you think? Can we
zhuzh
it up a little bit?
Yeah.
And we pimp her ride.
We got a plan going, and we ordered a ton of stuff. And basically he had to tell her that he needed the car a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And
typical mechanic taking my money, keeping my car at the shop.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you actually need more than an oil change. You're also going to need
that
a
cabin
lift
air
kit,
filter,
wheels and tires. We ordered a ton of stuff, and we basically gave her a full overland build.
Dude, that's so
in
sick.
one day on Friday. We spent the whole day doing it.
I'm tired.
So you basically did what we did on the FJ.
Yes.
On the Subaru.
Yes.
Okay, that's sick. What about the engine?
with only 6 hours?
We didn't do an engine swap or anything, but it is reliable now.
That was huge on Friday. And then 2 other days last week, we were in the desert. It was like 114.
Bruh,
so it's just, I'm exhausted.
That was gnarly. Yeah. So wait, you guys did the whole build and then revealed it?
Yeah. We
all in one day.
Dude, that's sick, man.
Yeah. It was really cool.
Suspension, tires.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see the full thing in the video when it comes out, but basically we did a lift kit, wheels and tires. Yep. We did a bumper bar with lights on it and KCs.
Skid plate.
I mean, that thing was so clapped out. So I'm really happy we were able to do that for her.
Yeah, and she keeps talking about wanting a project car too. She sent us this Safari Porsche 944 the other day that she found on Craigslist. And I was like, you should get it. And she's like, I can't have a second car. And it's like, okay, well, have a cool one car.
Yeah.
Then.
Right. Yeah, it's a very mild build. It's not super intrusive. So she'll get to enjoy it.
Was it? Like
we did Rally Tech. It was a 1/2-inch spacer lift, but a lift spring. So it actually it's functional.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very
and then
cool.
we changed all the geometry on the rear arms and everything.
Nice.
Skid plate,
like Casey lights,
roof
basket.
rack. Yeah. Oh, interior stuff. So then the other thing is Mike, who helps run RMS, and his dad helped build like a custom.
I heard about this.
The front or the rear seat folds back and now folds into a bed for her because she likes camping. And
Dude,
so Sandro took it a little extra. We just said build a drawer and a platform. Yeah. And he said, nah, it's going to look OEM.
Dude, that's sick.
So it's a cool build and it's very non-intrusive. Like I said, she'll get to still use her spare tire well, like everything, and it's just going to work out great.
It looks sick as hell too.
Yep.
That's really cool. All right, cool. So let's get into our story this week.
Let's.
VinWiki recently posted a video showing a 2006 Ford GT sitting in a random garage outside of Atlanta, mixed in with some garbage, some dead animals, and everything else you'd expect to find in a barn find scenario. Ed Bullion doesn't comment on why it's been in there for over 10 years, but he and a buddy, they cleared a path to the car. They put on some hazmat suits and work on getting it out of there. And the hazmat suits are pretty necessary because there is a lot of mold in this situation here. It's a heavy mold situation.
I watched the video and
heavy mold
I thought the hazmat suits were a little over the top, but but then I saw the interior was green. I think it was stored with the windows down or something.
But it was in a garage, right? So it's just wet in there.
Humid, dude. I mean, isn't Atlanta it's pretty humid over there?
It can get pretty humid. Is this actually his neighbor, or is this just he was driving by and was like,
I don't know. Ed's got his ways of finding these cars. You know?
Okay.
So all they had to do to get this thing started, speaking of Ford reliability, baby, they hooked up just a jump pack and it sprang to life pretty quickly.
Whoa.
Pretty awesome. That's built Ford tough, baby. And now it's undergoing a thorough cleanup by a local shop. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty freaking lucky to find that.
I went to high school with this this girl whose dad owned a Ford dealership, and she drove a Ford GT to school once.
That's
and it was so cool.
That's super cool.
It was the coolest thing ever.
Good for you, Dad.
Andrea Kemp.
Shouts out Andrea Kemp. Hit us up.
The one that got away.
Dude, those GTs, we shot with one back in probably 2018, 2019 for an Up to Speed episode. And I remember
the black one, right?
One,
yeah, I remember that.
Getting in there and the door tries to chop the top of your head off basically because it has it's not just normal door. It's got overhangs like the old school one. Not overhangs, I don't know, extensions into the roof.
Yeah, the door curves in like a foot.
I barely fit in it, which was very disappointing. But
wow,
yeah, I had my dreams killed one time when I got in a Pantera.
Oh
a few years ago.
no,
Elvis's Pantera, right?
I did do that one, yeah, but this was in New Mexico when we were doing high-low the first time around. I got in one because it was just sitting out in the yard, and then immediately had my dreams crushed because I'm way too big for those cars. Not meant for your median American male. No, they're meant for 70s Italians.
I'll stick to my trucks.
Much smaller.
Sad.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Ford GT.
We love barn finds.
We love barn finds.
Yeah.
Can't wait to fake one.
Well, Justin has a real one.
Yeah, but I guess the question is that really a barn find?
It's because
regardless of where it was found, it's not that old of a car. So at this point, is that considered a barn find?
I think sitting for 15 years is that's basically a human can grow up and be a real person in that time.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Is it the amount of time that dictates, or is it
the location?
Else? The location. Yeah.
I think it's time.
Yeah, I think so.
In some situations, maybe the condition,
Yeah.
I think if there's trash all over it and dead animals.
If it looks like it's been forgotten, that could be a barn. If it was parked and then something happened and it was never touched again.
Because if it was just a car that was in the garage for 5 years, that would just be like a Nolan project car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. But my Impulse is considered a barn find, even though it's the same situation. This was found in the garage, but that thing sat since 1992. Dang.
Okay. That's I think 20 years, I think is a good.
Right. I think 20 is good. 15 is pretty close. I would say that's decent.
Yeah, that's decent.
I would consider this a barn find. Well, we don't know when it was parked, do we?
Yeah, I don't know.
The age of this car is where the question kind of lies, but it's 20 years old at this point. Almost 20 years. I think it depends on how long it's sat there.
I mean, it's an awesome find regardless.
I think it's a 5 or 6 on the barn find spectrum.
Okay.
I was out of 10. Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, send us your barn find. We'll rate it.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. I spend a lot of time in my car, and I'm always seeing other drivers on their phone not paying attention to the road. I'm a safe driver, all right? I don't want to pay the same rate as them. Luckily, Allstate rewards safe driving. With Allstate, the more safely you drive, the less you'll pay. Who doesn't want to pay a rate based on your own safe driving? You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Rates and potential savings vary. Terms and conditions apply. In some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Speaking of rare supercars, the UK's Goodwood Festival of Speed went down this past weekend. It's another year of sick, old and new machinery tearing up that hill.
Just tearing it up.
That
crowd, that bloodthirsty crowd, waiting to see one of these expensive cars meet its demise.
Well, they got that.
Yeah, they did. So, usually the hill climb goes off without a hitch, but that was not the case for Lotus this year. The brand's Avia X prototype puts out nearly 2,000 horsepower. That's pretty good. I'd say it's pretty good. It's got some big old racing slicks and possesses all the chassis and aero development in the world, but it smashed right into a hay bale right after taking off from the starting line. So not a great start.
Yeah, I saw that. This is one of those cars that you've been hearing about for a couple of years. It's like, they're coming. These 2,000 horsepower electric supercars are coming.
It's also the UK's best electric supercar as well. So they're pretty proud of it.
Yeah, point of national pride for sure.
And it's just like it leaves the line and this just immediately spins out.
But it was a huge cloud of smoke on probably cold tires.
Yeah.
Slicks,
It was insane how much smoke there was.
Can we, is there any way to get a video up real quick? Oh, shit. Oh, no.
And that's all 4 wheels.
Oh,
smoking.
wow.
Oh.
dang, that sucks. And then it's just like,
and there's a front view.
oh no. Okay, so it's taken off. Big smoke.
Wow.
Oh, yep. Okay, and then it spins right into a hay bale, like a Mustang leaving a car meet. Dang, dude, it didn't even make it like 50 feet.
It didn't make it anywhere.
Just big old launch, and then something hooks, spins the car, boom, smashes in the bales. That is a lot sturdier.
It makes it look like just all 2,000 horsepower just kicked in right away.
Yeah,
damn,
fluid like water.
That is that's really unfortunate.
The commentators immediately say that has to be a technical issue. It's like 2,000 horsepower, like smart computers all trying to traction and get grip, and then it just
cuts. Yeah, I mean, one side gets traction, and that's why it spins like that. That sucks. So, as for our audio listeners, all four wheels, they basically start up spinning immediately, doing a big old burnout before it suddenly cuts right.
Making milk.
Yeah, the camera angle,
a lot of milk,
makes it look like a slow impact, but the damage was pretty significant. Just some background for you guys. The Avia has been in development for quite a few years now, and Lotus not only calls it Britain's first electric supercar, but also the most powerful electric supercar ever. So, gentlemen, what could have caused this? Did it pull hard to the right because one of its motors failed?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not an electric supercar surgeon. But
I don't know. Maybe you should have throttled it a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool launch there, but yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows what happened? Who knows? We'll never know.
They should start calling it Badwood because that stinks.
Dang.
Jeez.
Well, luckily there were some pretty successful runs up the hill at Goodwood Max, including one by an extreme-looking Subaru WRX made in-house by the automaker. According to Car and Driver, they're calling it WRX Project Midnight.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw that thing, and I'm like, what is this for?
It's I'll
for
tell
hill
you.
climbs?
WRX Project Midnight has a very sick wide body on there. It's got magnesium OZ racing wheels, got a huge wing, also a 2,500 pound curb weight. It's like almost as light as my EF Civic. And it's heavily modified to put out 670 horsepower and 680 foot-pounds of torque. That's a spicy meatball.
It looks a lot like Travis Pastrana's flying one. It looks a lot like that. Maybe that was what it was inspired off of or something. I'm just trying to figure out the purpose. Is this just like a fun build thing?
Its
capability
purpose is to go as fast as possible on paved surfaces.
Why?
Because you know,
it's time attack,
they all
right?
got their rally cars, and you know, they like going off road, flying over big old hills and stuff like that. But this is for the street, not the street. For the track.
It's just, it's like usually when a OEM or manufacturer does something like this, it's for some kind of series or purpose that they're entering in and investing in. So that's why I'm wondering, like, what is this for?
I think, you know, for publicity.
I mean, imagine your Subaru right now. You're making kind of boring-ish cars for the most part, and maybe this is just them letting people know, like, yeah, we're still cool.
We still got it. Yeah. For some reference here, the regular everyday WRX weighs 1,000 pounds more than Project Midnight, makes 271 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Subaru did a similar time attack Rex a few years ago called the Air Slayer, which was 300 pounds heavier. Like we said, wide body, looks like some carbon fiber.
Lots of aero
on there.
That's
like
cool.
you said, Justin. It's pretty sweet.
I like that it's all black. I don't know. I'm not a huge livery guy also. Like I like I like race cars that are just a color.
Yeah.
When I first heard the name Project Midnight, I was like, oh, like the Midnight Club. We're going to see some midnight purple on here. No, unfortunately not. It's just black.
It's just, it's like
the night?
Satin. It's like a satin black with like a gloss black Subaru livery. Big old wang, you know.
Big old wang.
It's just, you know, it's insane looking. It's cool. It's got a big scoop on the side.
Yeah, because I mean, in this article in particular, they're emphasizing they built it to be as fast as possible on the tarmac. But I'm kind of with you on that. I'm like, okay, but what's next then?
Right. Are you going to sell this to people so they can enter time attack series? Are you like, is this like a Cobra Jet?
Maybe they're going to try to go for some lap records, kind of like the Dodge did with the Viper when that was on its way.
Yeah.
Remember?
See, that'd be sick.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some all-wheel drive records.
Make the children love you.
We already know that WRXs are pretty amazing time attack cars, not because the ones we built, but you know, there's some very legendary WRX time attack cars out there. We've covered one of them on Bumper to Bumper years ago. I forget the owner's name of that car. But I mean, these things in the right trim, set up correctly, they're nasty.
Oh yeah.
So it would be cool to see this thing taking on some real world records.
Yeah. At Grid Life, like the Subarus and Evos are just like king when it comes to like street class stuff. Sometimes like a Civic or something pops up or S2000, but like the Subaru and the all-wheel drive guys are killing it.
I do really want to get our WRXs more dialed in again.
I think Hyrex is pretty much
haven't
there.
driven it yet. With
You
the new,
need to drive Hyrex.
transmission,
the
right?
transmission.
We don't fit in the seat very well.
Yeah,
And that's what deters us. But the new transmission, the limited slips all over the 6-speed, it's perfect.
maybe when it cools off a little bit, because the main problem with the Subarus right now is if you go out to the track in the summer, you're not going to get any laps because the car heats up too fast. But maybe you know, when it cools off, maybe revisit that, go take them out and test that thing out. Because I mean, dude, I love driving those things. They're so fun. Low car in particular, like you need some new suspension on it, but it just takes off. It's so fast.
Low car
so
was
fun,
perfect
dude.
until the 85 did.
Yeah.
I love it with the 85. You get that little stinky fuel to remind you that you're driving a race car. You can feel the
even
difference.
before we did that. I remember I took it out. Me and Jerry,
so
we took the Subarus out like last summer, and I mean, doing the pit straight onto Streets of Willow, foot to the floor, like when that turbo, all the boost kicks, it's just like you're in your seat. It at the time, I mean, it was only making 305 horsepower, but I mean that thing was
324, which is exactly 100 more than stock, which I think is perfect.
Yeah,
right in the 5 speeds, like life, you know, life range. As soon as we 85 it was like, okay, well now we got to fix this, we got to do that.
Yeah,
transmission grenades itself. So you know,
driving that thing in on public roads though
is the best.
A little scary though, because I've never felt like I was going to be pulled over more in any other car. I was driving into, I don't know where I was driving. I drove it to Long Beach when we went to IndyCar a couple of months ago, and there was a CHP just on me for miles, and he was like right, and I would just switch lanes, then he would switch lanes.
No way.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm just like in the car and like waiting for him to pull me over, and I'm just trying to be really good. And it was before I put the E85 in it, so it still smelled kind of normal, and then eventually he just like got out of there. But
I mean, we put a big old like hot boy duckbill on there, and I think that really, it's bright blue. It's a big old blueberry. I mean, it looks it's just so loud and just in your face now. But I love those cars.
They're great. I do miss driving Lorex a lot. Actually, if Donut sold any cars, that would be the one I'd buy.
Yeah,
like I love that car.
Yeah, it's a great car.
It's a miles per gallon car. You know, like the boost on that car is in a point where you can enjoy it every day, whereas on Hyrex is so high up. But now with the 6 speeds, a little bit different. But it's the boost is more usable on Hyrex now for speed though, like because the gears kind of stay in the boost range. Whereas Lorex is old school. It's like, oh, if I know if I go past this point, I'm going, you know. So I don't know. They're fun cars. I'm excited to see what Subaru does with this. If they're willing to invest in this much. You know, because from what it seems, they've been giving up on sports cars a little bit.
I mean, they're just growing now, and
like this isn't even an STI, you know,
right?
So like, what is Subaru Technica Industries doing, or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I mean, it has been interesting to. I mean, with Subaru's growth, they are one of the fastest growing automakers out there. You know, focusing a lot on family cars, on more mass market kind of stuff. Whereas when you think back 20 years ago. Like the WRX and the Forester are really what they were known for. Two, I mean, it's a different enthusiast car or a different sense of enthusiast car, but the Forester, I mean, still has like a super dedicated fan base.
Oh yeah, huge.
And, I mean, I think the Crosstrek also takes up that mantle these days.
The Crosstrek's kind of taken the mantle of everything else at this point, but it's still the same crowd. You know, if you like a Subaru, you love a Subaru. You know,
I wanted. There was a time when I really want to get a Crosstrek, and even like last year, we were doing an ad. We were shooting an ad for Subaru. They sponsored a video, but they lent us some Crosstreks. One of them, the Wilderness Edition, and like that thing was
perfect.
Actually, like no bullshit. A truly capable vehicle. You got to be smart about your lines. Like it's not a Jeep, it's not a rock crawler.
You're much lower, but
because the car is so light, you can take like if there's big ruts or whatever, you can kind of just like glide over the high spots. It's really impressive car. Anyway,
sounds like a cash grab to me.
It's a cash grab.
Yeah,
it's a cash grab. It's a cash grab.
But there was more stuff that happened at Goodwood.
Yes, there
besides
was.
these, Mad Mike debuted his McLaren
Ooh,
650S.
the
Was it a
Mad
650S or was it a P1?
So it's a 650S GT3 with a P1 bump with P1 bumpers.
I see. Okay, so it's
and then a wide body kit from Chimera. Chimera-san.
a rotary engine.
Yeah.
He's been working
so
on, he's been working on this thing for a while.
He has. This thing's called Mad Mac.
Mad Mac.
Actually, when I was at the airport flying out to the wedding, I was like, you know, the Mad Mac videos have been served to me. I just haven't had time to watch them, so I watched all of them waiting for my flight. And dude, that's like the sickest build on YouTube right now.
It really is
so cool.
What channel is it on? Because it's not his channel.
I think it is actually on Mad Mike's channel. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, okay, so like the highlight stuff, the ones where it's drifting and stuff, it's usually on Red Bull's channel. But like the build is on Mad Mike's channel. Definitely recommend you check it out. Like we said, so this was a GT3 car, 650S GT3 car, full race car, full like cage, you know, paddle shifting, steering wheel, like all the typical race car stuff. It got delivered to a shop in New Zealand, and they immediately took all that shit out.
Yep.
Except for the cage, obviously. But they built had to design their own like angle kit for the car and like some other
I did see a clip about the angle kit. He actually used RX-7 parts.
Yeah. Used a lot of stuff from like Part Shop Max to like get this thing together.
He said,
hilarious.
Turns out the geometry was pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the engine setup? I know it's like what is it like?
Well, first they were going to use the 4-liter, I think it's a 4-liter McLaren, the twin turbo V8. Like they originally, they say in the videos that that's what they're planning to do, but I'm thinking like after watching them, I'm like, nah, come on, dude. You're Mad Mike. You're not going to use
He's
that.
Mazda, dude.
So yeah, they pulled all that stuff out because they wanted to make 1,000 horsepower, and they kind of determined that it would just be way too expensive it'd be more expensive to modify and tune the McLaren V8 to make 1,000 horsepower and probably be less reliable than it would be to just build
something he already has.
Yeah, I think
it's a 3-rotor, right?
It's just a 3? Wow.
Rotor, yeah, making 1,000 horsepower. It in the build videos, in one of them, it makes so much power that like the engine itself is like twisting in the chassis and starts like bending all this other shit on like the intake.
Oh wow!
So much torque, twist the chassis off the line.
Sick.
Cool.
So it definitely go check out those videos.
Yeah,
it's a nice like order yourself a meal and just like get cozy and watch all these videos. Mad Mike, I've never met him. Our Aaron Parker is one of Mad Mike's like most trusted mechanics. Aaron's traveled the world with Mad Mike.
He's a hardcore rotary guy too.
Yeah, there's not a lot of rotary guys out there, so it's a pretty small community.
You could say that it's a tight circle.
What is it with small islands and rotaries? New Zealand,
yeah.
What else?
Puerto Rico.
Oh,
what else?
2 of them.
That's the 2 I know.
Catalina? I don't
know. That's the 2 I know. Puerto Ricans love rotaries.
Interesting.
Huge rotary guys.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, they rotary swap everything.
Interesting.
Quite literally everything. The Vargas brothers, they were on Hoonigan for a long time.
Okay.
They have their own channel. They nothing but rotaries. Dude in Blue, his wife now is Puerto Rican, and when he did his Puerto Rico video, it nothing but rotaries.
Interesting.
And then New Zealand, nothing but rotaries.
I wonder if it's like maybe there was like some really popular cars that let's say like helped build the car culture of those respective countries, and maybe that's why people had such an affinity for them.
I think it'd be worth looking into.
Yeah,
maybe Mazda had the foothold on the Puerto Rican.
That was my thought.
It's probably that too.
I think Mazda was good guy. Mazda was like investing into the stuff.
Yeah,
maybe, but
that's very likely as well. That's interesting though.
Yeah,
Mad Mike absolutely ripped this thing too. Didn't pull a Lotus. I'll say that much.
Yeah, and I think the car, before they shipped the car to New Zealand, they were having some issues. I don't think they were able to fix them. So like in the clip of him going up the hill climb, it kind of just seems like he's in one gear the whole time, and I can't wait for the next video in the series. That probably is the case though. Like just single gear all the way up, So we'll see. I mean, again, go check out Mad Mike's channel. Go check out Mad Mac, the car. This thing, dude, it's like
it's pretty
super
crazy.
cool. All right, so that's it for the Goodwood news, but we still got some more European sports car news. This time over at Audi, they unveiled the very limited RS6 Avant GT. Only 660 of these things will be produced. 85 of them bound for the US. So get your orders in now, people. So Audi says that this is inspired by the 90 Quattro IMSA GTO race car in the late 80s. So it's a wagon with a race car livery on it.
Okay.
Pretty much.
From the dealer.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who are not familiar, the 90 GTO was a flame-spewing beast in North American road racing that put the competition on notice with its all-wheel drive grip and torquey turbocharged power. It's also a top example of all cars look better as race cars. Yeah. So let's talk about this RS6 here. It's got some big old grills to improve cooling, which is pretty sick. I mean, dude.
Oh, this livery with the orange and the gray and everything. Black. Okay, yeah.
The hood and front fenders are also carbon fiber. It's got adjustable coilovers over the regular RS6's air suspension, so that's pretty sick. It's got more aggressive transmission and differential tuning, so it's going to be way worse in traffic.
Yeah, probably super tall gears.
Yeah. It's got massive carbon ceramic brakes, and even though it makes the same 621 horsepower and 626 pound-feet of torque as the regular RS6, it's a tenth of a second faster to 0 to 60 at 3.3 seconds.
Yeah, it's not too crazy of an upgrade, but this is a collector's dream, right? It's
For sure.
Limited time paint job. This is the one you park.
I'm going to bet
stow away
that they're going to stop building the RS6 here pretty quick because this is coming out, but they also released a special edition where you could get it in yellow and like the bumpers and stuff. The body is actually like kind of like softened down a little bit. It's not as angular as the normal RS6. It's like another collector item, and I don't know, something just tells me that when they're starting to pump those collector editions out to like juice the sales numbers just a little bit, that means that I would not be surprised if we hear that it's been discontinued.
Yeah,
by the end of the year.
the RS6 doesn't share the same drivetrain as like the Bentley and all those luxury cars with the 4-liter V8.
No?
It does share that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Bentley's phasing that out. So they're going hybrid electric moving forward. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe just this platform in general, Volkswagen Auto Group, is just like, I don't know, doing the last hurrah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would not be surprised.
So I'll never be able to afford one, is what you're saying.
Well, dude, I mean, they're like $200,000 as it is. They're so expensive.
I'm saying, dude, couple of homies, we all go in, we do a little bit of a timeshare situation, we get a cool car, we enjoy it for a year, then we decide, do we want to keep it? Do we want to get a different one?
We film it on a donut video, and then we write it off.
That's the hack.
Taxes, baby.
And then it's all through an LLC. And then, anyway,
sketchy. So
pricing for the GT hasn't been announced yet, but considering the extra tuning, low production number, and the RS6 starting at a lofty $125,000 as it is anyway, it would not be surprising to see this thing well over 150 grand. I'm saying 200 at least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's like from the factory price. I mean, and then you slap that on a trailer.
They're putting $30,000 price hikes on Hyundais,
on toasters,
so
on electric shavers.
That's why I don't shave.
Well, that's a lot of money, but let me ask you guys a question.
Okay.
All right. How much would you pay for a 1997 Land Cruiser with less than 5,000 original miles?
Well, okay. So it's 97. I've learned a lot about Land Cruisers in the last year.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a 97, which means it got the newer motor, right? So you have the 60 series Land Cruiser that had a straight six, So then when the 80 series came out, which is the 90s curvy kind of boxy one, it still had the old motor with more weight. So the old motor from 92 to 96 wasn't as strong. Those are the ones you can find for $5,000. As soon as 97 hits and you have the newer motor, 15, 20, 10.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say with less than 5,000, I mean, like what, 20 grand or something?
You'd pay, yeah.
So
if I was a Land Cruiser nut.
It depends on the configuration. Because you have like an anniversary one, you have some that come triple locked. It depends on how they spec'd it out, right?
So
this is the Toyota Supra of SUVs.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, great point.
Thank you for putting it in terms I can understand.
Exactly. So for this to sell for over.
Well, hang on. So let's get there. So,
okay.
so this,
cool.
there is a 1997 Land Cruiser just sold last week for $170,000.
God,
on Bring a Trailer.
All right. So yeah.
Why?
Well,
what?
Justin's about to justify.
We're doing
this,
no. I'm not trying to justify.
Tell me. Please tell
We're
me why
coming
you would do
full
this.
circle. We're literally coming full circle again with what was going on with the Supras a couple years ago.
Okay.
Where people want that original experience. Plus, a new Land Cruiser just came out, and not a lot of people are happy about it. But it brings that hype again, and everyone's like, "Well, I remember the old one. I kind of want that experience again."
Okay.
You know,
I could see that.
So didn't like a Honda Accord or something sell for like 20 grand?
20 grand, sure.
Because it had 5,000 miles, and it was like, "Oh, well, this is a great car for my kid to get the same experience I got," or some crap, right?
That's not worth 20 grand.
But $170,000 is crazy.
That's insane,
you could buy probably that Audi we were just talking about. You could buy a Cayman GT4 RS.
You buy 20 Land Cruisers.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'd build like the sickest Land Cruiser ever.
Yeah. But this is a time capsule. So this is going into someone's collection.
So I looked up the buyer of this auction just to kind of see like, well, what else is he?
Which I love that you can do, by the way.
Yeah.
Is this like a sheik from the Middle East or something?
So that's the confusing part, is that you think it's like, okay, this guy's probably trying to buy a bunch of stuff. Like, okay, he tried to buy a Trackhawk at one point. The only other Bring a Trailer auction that he's won is an E36 that he paid less than $10,000 for.
Whoa.
Wow.
So he upped his ante quite a bit.
You never know what's going on with people. You can't judge a person just by their Bring a Trailer bids.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you bid on anything on Bring a Trailer?
No, I haven't. I've gotten very close. Ironically, our Land Cruiser, it was like 2 years ago. Must have been the previous gen that you were talking about, because I think it went up to about 25 grand, but it was like
a round eye one.
I'm not
or
even
4i
sure.
one.
There was a 4i one, yeah.
So it's a long,
and it was built out like
62.
Had some sick, fully kitted out for overlanding, and I was like, this might be it. And I, consulted with Chloe about it for a few days, and then I decided I didn't want to do that. And yeah, that's my very intriguing story.
Have you bid on anything, Justin?
I've never bid on anything. Actually, the Impulse was an eBay auction. Weirdly enough, the guy would refuse to put it on Facebook for some reason. So I just gave him asking price because I was already talking to the guy. He just wouldn't pull the ad down.
Yeah.
So I was just like, screw it. I'm not going to waste time and negotiate, because I had lost the opportunity to buy this car before, and someone never picked it up. So he put it back up for sale. So I was just like, just give him what he wants and tell him to take it down. Yeah. And I showed up at his house and talked to him and everything.
I love that.
That's the only bidding I've ever done. I don't really like auctions. To me, it's just, anyone could just show up and just overbid everything.
It seems really fun. If I had like a huge chunk of change just to like willy-nilly buy stuff like that, it sounds like a good time.
I love this.
What about you?
I did. I bid. This was at work a couple of years ago at our old office. There was possibly the cheapest car that I've ever seen on Bring a Trailer, a Geo Metro on airlift suspension. So it was on bags, and it was listed in like Portland or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, dude? This was a period in my life where I would sell my car, and I would just buy a cheaper car, and that's how I would just like get extra money for a while. So like I sold my a Barth. I sold that.
When I first met you, you had the Fiat.
I had a Barth with the Pops and Bangs tune. I sold that, and then I sold that for like $8 or $9 grand, and then I bought an old cop car on eBay, the Taurus Interceptor, the twin turbo, and I had that for like a year, and then I sold that for like $6 grand.
Did you and Bart both have those at the same time?
Yeah, because you know why? Because we were researching this bumper to bumper.
Yeah, we did the bumper to bumper on the Police Explorer, and all of us were like obsessed with that drivetrain for a minute.
And it was like this new thing. Like I didn't even know you could get that as a used cop car, and so I found this one on eBay for like $5 grand, and I scooped it up.
And then you had $3 grand in the bank.
Then I had $3 grand in the bank, and I kept doing that, and then I got a BMW. But then like the thing that happened was I saw this Geo Metro. I'm like, it was like $1,000 on Bring a Trailer, and it was funny because it had airbags. So I put in a bid of like $1,300.
Yeah.
And I was the high bidder for like a couple days. I was kind of nervous. It ended up, I ended up getting outbid, and it sold for like $1,600 or something like that. So nice. I think I'm probably glad I didn't buy it.
So you mentioned
max purchase,
reading someone's bid history. I was talking to someone recently who was bidding on something, and they were in a battle with somebody towards the end, and it was just going up and up and up and up and up. But then one of their friends looked at the their competition's bid history, and it was just some dude who bids on literally everything. And it was just like, I would have stopped bidding immediately. He just drives up the price. He just drives the price up.
Well, maybe that's why they have that, is so you can like kind of look into your competition and make sure you're not being trolled.
I would have just done. I don't care. You can buy it, buddy.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the auction is that it's this competition and it's public, so you get people watching it. It's like the freaking Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah,
I love
that's my Super Bowl.
I love people watching.
What's sports ball? I love Bring a Trailer. Okay, this is very embarrassing, but I did have a moment like that back in college. Look, I feel like the connotation around 4chan has changed a lot. Back in the day, it was bad like 15 years ago, but it wasn't like as bad, I want to say. Anyway, I remember one Super Bowl Sunday in like 2011 or 2012. Instead of watching the Super Bowl, I watched like a stream of Watchmen that like someone on like the Vidya board had organized, and I was like, "This is my lowest right here. This is my lowest I've ever been." I was excited. It's a good movie,
dude. Nolan.
I mean, 2010. It was. Well, you could have just went.
I stand by. I know there was like a Reddit versus 4chan like Battlefield 3 match. That was streamed back in the day. I remember watching that too. Yeah. Anyway, so Justin, if someone is spending 170 grand on a Land Cruiser, are they going to sell it, or are they going to drive it, or are they just going to like let it sit?
That is already a timepiece, and I think it's just going to sit some more. Yeah.
I mean,
like a $30,000 Land Cruiser. Yeah, someone's going to drive that. Like, they love it. You know, I've seen people cut the roof off of a $30,000 90s Land Cruiser.
James and Jesse went to Utah, to Salt Lake City a few years ago.
Yeah,
to go to the Land Cruiser
Museum.
The owner of the Utah Jazz is like a huge Land Cruiser and Toyota collector, and he has like over 100 Land Cruiser, like FJs, FJ90, FJ, like all.
That's his museum, the Land Cruiser museum.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zach Deal was in Texas, and someone hit him up, was like, "Hey, I have a 70 series Land Cruiser, which is the one we never got. It's the one the whole world uses in love, and they still sell
round headlights, right?
The 70 series is like the pickup flatbed tray.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The one we never got, and the one everyone knows as the Middle East military vehicle. He got to drive one of those, and he was like, in this dude's little collection, he had a bunch of Land Cruisers just like this one that had low miles, was specific collection, collector's edition, colors, like all kinds of stuff. And
I totally get it, because it's like, especially for Toyota fans, like Toyota, I think is a pretty easy company to like get enamored with. Yeah. Just when you like learn about their company culture, and also just getting into something like a Lexus, for example. Like my fiance, she has a LS430, and I just love how well built it is, even 20 years later.
Yep.
It's so nice. So like you combine that kind of reverence for company with like an activity like off-roading or overlanding, and seeing that same kind of like company philosophy in those vehicles too.
Yeah.
I could see why it's really easy to get obsessed with those things and start a collection.
And the best collector cars are the ones that were mass produced. So like look at the original Ford Bronco. Literally everyone had one, you know?
But it's like all Pokemon cards at that point, like finding the exact spec one and like that needle in a haystack.
Yep.
I get that.
And understanding exactly like what people are going to want later. But now like the Bronco is so popular. Every time a new one comes out, they go up in price, you know? And it doesn't matter what condition it's in. Like, oh, the floor's rusted through, but it's still got the VIN numbers, $9 grand. You know?
Okay. If you have a nice or a decent 5th gen that you want a decent price for, and you're in California, hit us up. Our producer Danny is looking for one every day. She's looking for one of those Broncos.
I can actually give you the exact spec that she wants.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wrote this down.
Okay. So listen closely.
In case. Danny's dream car is a 1986 Bronco XLT in black.
In black. So if you have that and aren't looking for a crazy price for it, hit us up.
Danny's cool as hell, by the way.
Yeah.
We love Danny. She needs this car.
She does. She does. She deserves it. So
for a project car drag race.
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude, I've been grinding. Dude, I've been grinding.
I don't know if my cars are gonna make it.
I don't know.
What are you bringing? Are you bringing the
I'm trying to get the
Civic?
Imperial out there. But that's, I don't know.
Just bring the Civic.
Before we go, I want to plug something real quick. If you are in the St. Paul or Minneapolis area, and you're looking for something to do on Saturday, come check out the Modest Car Show over at River Center there in St. Paul. I will be there.
Oh.
I'm going to be there. Be judging some cars over there. Might do a little Q&A.
Cool.
You might see me around. Yeah. So come on out, St. Paul. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Twin Cities, baby.
Twin Cities. Yeah. Come on out.
I'm actually going to be at Zoomies this weekend.
Oh, where?
I'm going to San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yeah. Me, Jimmy,
Charles Barkley's favorite city.
So I'm actually going to be at the Zoomies More Than Rolling in San Antonio event. It'll be us. It'll be me, Tim, Stephanie from RMS, and Jimmy. All at the donut. Which I think we have a booth. I think the E36 is going to be there.
Yeah.
With the
there's something different about the E36.
You're going to want to see it
with some new stuff to it. We're going to be there all day, from like 1 to 7-ish or something like that.
Drink
at
some
the
water.
Event. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So come see us and say hi.
So if you're in San Antonio or St. Paul, you have the opportunity to see one of our faces.
Yeah.
You'll have to choose, though, which one to go to.
It's 2 completely different directions.
All right. So thank you, Max.
What do they call it? The double? What was it for NASCAR?
Oh, yeah. Doing the double.
The double? Yeah, come do the double this weekend.
That would actually be incredible if someone did that. Anyway,
do it.
Follow Max at Max Maddox. Follow Justin at Justin Freeman. Follow me at Nolan J. Sykes. Woo, all right. Big thanks to the crew. We got Mark Schroeder, Gavin Kinzel, Peter Nelson, Nick Giamuso. Also, thank you for listening. All right. See you next time.
Bye.